doing just a little video about Juxtalite.
I thought you would say juxt a little video.
So today we're talking about Juxtalite. It's just a little video about Juxtalite. That'll be okay. Okay. Hi, welcome to Medical Monks, where your care is our highest calling. I'm Nikki, and today we're going to talk about a product from our partners at Medi USA, whose tagline is, I feel better. And this is something that's going to help you feel a little bit better if you are struggling or a loved one is struggling with something that has anything to do with basically vein failure in your legs. We're talking about deep vein thrombosis. We're talking about weakened walls that are causing some pulling in the muscles of your leg that are going to end up causing some tissue damage there and possibly some ulcers that are really painful. Or perhaps you're recovering from one and we want to prevent that from happening again. I'm not going to get too much into how this happens, but essentially inside our veins are little flaps or valves, and whenever the walls of the vein fail, so do those flaps, and blood is not pumping up to our heart. It causes that pooling, as I just mentioned, and then we have blood pooled underneath the skin. It causes the thinness there, and then a wound, and on and on and on and on. So Circaid Juxtalite is a unique compression wrap available in beige or black. Each kit includes 2 compressive undersocks, an inelastic compression legging, and a BPS compression measurement card. It's going to help aid in solidifying and bolstering those veins from the outside in, as it were, providing that support and that structure so that those veins, even if those flaps aren't doing their job, it's going to help keep those walls tighter and get blood flowing up and down. And that's really the key to healing, right, is getting oxygenated blood where it needs to go. Why are we talking about this and highlighting this particular product? Well, it's different than most conventional wraps that you probably think of, the traditional ones that are all in one roll and they're elastic and they're stretchy and you can just wrap and wrap and wrap and wrap. The kind of wounds we're talking about, there's a real specific kind of pressure that is really only something your doctor can tell you is needed and required in a consistency for your wounds to heal. And it's really hard to get that just right if you are using a wrap that has a lot of tension in it and has a lot of give. Think of it, wrapping like a mummy. You may or may not have that same amount of tension at the top as you are in the middle or the bottom, etc. Now, the word juxta in there is because this particular bandage has alternating directions the bandage gets pulled into, so it is juxtaposed one bandage over the other. So this makes it easy, it makes it effective, it makes it simple for anybody to put it on themselves or a caregiver to do that. There are lines on here that are specifically intended to help you gauge the exact amount of pressure required for your wound. And you can adjust that during the day as you see that those lines are moving. So if it's tighter, those lines will be a little bit farther apart. There'll be more tension. If it's not quite, those lines will be a little closer together. And right there with the handy dandy gauge that comes with your product would be an instant visual. Are you wrapping in a way that is going to be effective for your healing and be consistent throughout your day? Probably even more so than deep vein thrombosis would be just edema. There's an awful lot of people in this country who suffer from edema. It's super common. And what's really important in treating edema is consistency. And the longer you can wear a wrap, the better. This is where Juxtalite HD comes in. While standard Juxtalite is great for all applications, the HD version is a fair bit thicker and provides a little better support for more moderate or severe cases of edema. This is super comfortable, super light, it's very soft on the outside, and so it's something you can easily wear throughout your day and all of your activities. If you found any of that content helpful, be sure to like and follow, hit the bell below, and you'll get plenty more where that came from. Thanks for joining us.